Good morning and welcome to another story of my book, Shamanic Journey, Crossing the Portal of 2020-2021. This is the second story in the 4-article group at the end of the book called The Success Kit for the New Consciousness for the New Human of 2021 and Beyond. Based on José Millán, the Spanish astrologer's video, A New Humanity, this second article is called Shared Responsibility. Chuck Spezzano says in his work, reconnection is an act of love, and that when we are able to work together at a heart level, we create a healed bonding, which sets that heart free of revenge. I read here revenge equally as frustration, the old chip on the shoulder that states that the world owes us something, the feeling that I started life from a disadvantaged place. And whatever level and the reason why I am not where I would like to be at this place and time in my life is this kind of understanding. But the fact is that wherever we might have been has nothing to do with where we are at or where we are going. If we have failed to look at our truth in the eye, we may have failed to make empowered choices. And if we have not allowed the past to heal and release the resistance that feelings such as lack of forgiveness, conditional or partial love, remorse, guilt, blame, hatred, judgment, competition or resentment created in our emotional body or energetic body, since emotion is energy in motion, then this is really the reason why we are where we are at. And there is no judgment here, because life is a school where we all are at different levels in our conscious evolution. But the fact is that when this negativity crystallizes in our bodies, we set a course on automatic pilot towards a future over which we have no control. Looking at another trying to blame them for our circumstances is so passé and so not true. And it would only take a little bit of will effort to look inside ourselves and find that, in fact, there is nobody to blame in this game that we call life. We choose to either learn or we don't. We choose to either move forward or we stay stuck. We choose to love others and heal our bonds through an act of love. Or we say we can't, and therefore we don't. The choice is simply, utterly, undeniably, and solely ours. So what does a world of shared responsibility look like? From the perspective of what I've just said, I envision it as follows. This is my definition. My favorite Spanish astrologer, José Millán, says in his video, A New Humanity, that we are moving into a society that is no longer based on a vertical power base, as if power is owned by those at the top of the social pyramid who control and command those at the bottom, but on a horizontal power base with a new system of values, a new social contract to create new boundaries, a shared vision of reality without power figures, but based on open science, where we can all have a say. This means that manipulation will give way to knowledge and understanding. Those who know and understand will have, as José says, an evolutionary advantage. And I am referring not only to the knowledge of specific subjects, but also to the understanding of consciousness as a series of frequencies to work with, contain, channel, elevate, and manage in order to continuously create a renovated vision of our future based on new possibilities. And these new possibilities will be created by a wider perspective and a higher knowledge than the physical construction that we currently work on, limited to our 5 senses, which are ruled by the ego. José says that Aquarium, being an air sign, has no boundaries. For me, air is linked to the mind, the broader or cosmic mind, not the human physical mind, limited to what the eye can see. And the cosmic mind works on impulses, beats, oscillations, rhythms, patterns. It's like a language. When we tap into the patterns, We align ourselves with the universal consciousness. I guess this is where my polyglot mind comes handy. I can see and feel the patterns and rhythms of expression. I can understand, follow, and flow with the melodies, the ebbs and tides, the in-breath and out-breath, of the very different beats that humans produce when we communicate, as well as the universal flow. And because I understand it, I can relate to it. How will it change our known reality? José explains further in his video his vision. According to the planetary configuration that he has studied, he talks about a new collective spirit, perhaps from a different point of view, but still relevant to this article. There are 2 points that he mentions of which I believe to be interesting. The first one is that he believes that there will be a basic provided income for food and survival, and that work will be shared, and there will be no retirement and no full-time work. And the second one is that with the new working from home model that the pandemic forced us to establish worldwide, we will organize ourselves in hubs or microcenters, smaller towns with better quality of life, where the old and the sick will be looked after. I'm sure that you have already seen in your town or city a movement or exodus towards the outskirts. Since people in general do not need to commute so much outside of the cities, people can in general have nicer and quieter environments, more conducive to less stress, and therefore higher standard of living in its broader sense of community, natural environment, less congestion and pollution, lower living cost, and so on. So it seems that there is a natural rhythm that is being established. We didn't want to do it. We were not even sure whether we needed to do it. We knew that we needed to do something, but it seemed that everything we did was taking us further away from living in harmony and closer to chaos. But what did happen, even if unexpectedly, was that the sum of the conscious and unconscious thoughts that humanity had been emitting over decades had created a massive tidal wave of energy that showed itself as this pandemic, making the global ship change direction in many ways, big and small. And so here we are now. The question is, what fears are being triggered by the change of events? José says that in order to do what we want to do, we need to update the old question, who could I be? We can be anything we want, really. Shifting our mindset to living in the now. Not in that faraway future that may never come, and pronounce, I am, in order to face the feeling of void created by the change. And it is up to you to decide who this I am wants to be. As the past is being dismantled, a new way of seeing the world is being born. We may not all see it, but we can all feel it. And within the new constraints, there are new hopes. I am sure that you, my dear reader, or person who's watching this video, can relate to the feeling of secretly wanting, for the moment, a crack in this timeline to grab the opportunity when you can put your foot in your dream life door and hopefully make the change that you always wanted to make, but you didn't have the energy, the resources, the know-how, or the momentum to make happen. And I'm sure, my dear friend, that if you are honest with yourself, you will admit, at least to yourself in the silence of your thoughts, that thank goodness something actually cracked in this impossible and stifled reality, so that you could take a respite from the roller coaster that modern life had pushed us into, allowing you to stop for perhaps a moment so that you could envisage a new possibility for yourself, one that requires less money, less producing, more happiness. As far as I'm concerned, humanity and cosmos have come together to offer us the doorway to finally have the opportunity to change our disembodied, robotic, externally imposed realities into honest, creative, and harmonious ones. Thank you for listening. 2 more articles to go. See you next time.